Okay, we've got Guy Caminski, supposedly from South Africa, but he keeps turning up in all sorts of corners of Europe. Guy, you're a man of the world in 10-pin bowling now.
I must say it's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed this year. I've travelled the most by a long way. I mean, San Marino, Barcelona, Turkey, Masters now for the Weber, and then I've got Germany coming up next 2 weeks, and then the World Cup in Mexico. So it's really been fantastic. I've loved it.
And congratulations, you're World 10-pin Masters champion back here in Barnsley last April. I talked to you in San Marino about that, and you were still on cloud 9 then. What's happened since then?
I think I'm still on cloud 9. I wish it would last forever, but unfortunately it all has to come to an end. But no, still loving every minute of it. Just loving being here at the Weber Cup, and then obviously having that title gives a bit more, credibility to the whole thing. So I'm really loving that, and they've asked me to present the trophy for the Weber Cup, which would be a wonderful honour. So I'm just enjoying all the extras that come with being the Masters champion.
How come you found this niche with the Weber Cup? They bring you all the way from South Africa, so they must think very highly of you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do probably talk the most compared to anybody else out there, and probably talk the most rubbish. So I suppose it's the natural selection of all the players to come and do it. And I must say I was very nervous last year, but it's something I'm really enjoying. I tell you, it's nice to get a different aspect of bowling, because when you're on the lanes, you don't quite see exactly what you can see from behind the cameras and the moves. And I've actually learned quite a bit about bowling sitting in the booth as opposed to actually being on the lanes.
The Weber Cup is very prestigious now, but it's growing year by year. I mean, what are the parameters of this thing? How far do you think it can go?
I mean, I just have been blown away about how much it's grown just from last year alone. I mean, last night, if anyone was watching, standing room only. I mean, we've an hour to go before we start the afternoon session, and it's nearly full. I mean, people are getting in because they can't get to this. There are seats available. I mean, it's live. It's already progress. Who knows? I mean, the bigger it gets, the better. I mean, I hope it just explodes and becomes massive. I mean, that would be great for our sport. I'd really hope that happens.
How difficult is it to sit there and do the round-to-round summaries in between? And occasionally you get a question from Nick Halling, which must come as a surprise. Do you get any warning for stuff like that?
No, the questions just come at random, and you've got to be prepared. The only hard part is that obviously being so close to the players, sometimes you have to be a little negative. They make mistakes, as people do, and the pressure makes people make mistakes. So you have to call it like you see it. So if you think, Paul is a great friend of mine. He's had 3 opportunities this weekend to shut somebody out in the 10th frame, and all 3 hasn't managed to do it. So unfortunately, you've got to say that he's choking in a way, and that's tough to call, because you're friends with the guy, so you don't want to be too harsh, but you want to be fair to the people at home watching. So you've got to call it the way you see it.
How is doing this affecting your own bowling? Are you watching other people's styles and trying to adapt the way? I mean, for instance, Tim Mack has come on tremendously in the past year. He's bowling so smoothly now. He's using his shoulder. I mean, do you think of things like that when you stand on the approach with your bowling ball in your hand?
Actually, you definitely do. I think the best way for people to learn is to watch these kind of shows, because they all have something in common. And if you can just work out what's common to all of them, and you can incorporate that into your own game, I think you'll always become a better player. So for me, definitely watching them, I mean, they're all so solid at the line, their body positions are all very similar, although they have different, even Oscar, if you look at Oscar, they all are kind of similar at the line. And the approach is probably not so important, but it's how you let the ball go, where you add to the line, and watching the best players in the world, if they're doing it that way, the best advice I can give you is to do it the same way they're doing it. I mean, to have Pete out here for the first time, to see him live, it's like watching poetry, it's so smooth, he lets the ball go so fantastically. So to have these guys out here and to see them live is what actually makes it all the more different than watching it at home. So to all the people out there, get down there and come watch these guys play.
The criticism of Pete is that he's only got about 220 revolutions on his ball, and the others are around the 400 mark. They're saying he's a little bit over the hill. Do you reckon?
Sure. I mean, I was lucky enough to be with you in San Marino and Barcelona. I think anybody who dares to tell Pete he's over the hill might just get a bit of a backlash. But he bowled back-to-back 300s in Barcelona. He won there. He bowled for 1590 or 1570 for 6 games in San Marino. I tell you, if you can do that with 220 revs, man, put me down. I'm going to bowl 220 revs as well.
So what's your future now?
So I don't know, just got to, as I said, Germany for the ECC, hope you're going to, ECR, hope you're going to qualify for the World Games, it'll be the top 8, and then the World Cup in Mexico, and that'll be my year. Then it's summertime back home, and kids go on vacation, so business is quite busy for me. So definitely home for December, January, and I'd really like to bowl 10 European tour stops next year, so that's my goal. I'm talking to a couple of sponsors just to help me with the flights. But yeah, hopefully to see more of you, Keith, and be here more often and see the bowling mates and just to see everybody here. I love the tour. It's been brilliant.
Well, you're always popular on the tour, you know that, and we're always pleased to see you. Thanks for coming all the way from South Africa. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Keith. Cheers.